In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single healer in Marvel Rivals. Now, keep in mind, this isn't like a definitive ranking, it's just my opinion on how much I have fun playing them, as well as how good I think they are. So, it's not going to be like a definitive list, like I said. As well as, there's only 8 healers, so there's not that many in the game. And also, I don't think any of them are bad either, so if one's at the very low or last place, that doesn't mean I think it's terrible, or they're terrible, I just don't think they're the best. But at last place, I'm going to have Loki. He's definitely my least favorite of all the healers. I think he can be pretty good in some situations, but I think you have to be really good with him in order to use him correctly. And even then, I still think there's better healers to use. He has his main attack, which does do some healing, and it does a little bit of splash damage, so it's actually not that hard to hit people with them. And then he has his clones, so he can set up clones. I think he can do 2 of them. And then wherever you shoot, the clone will also shoot, so it'll be like you're shooting them multiple times with just one shot. So that does make it pretty good. You can heal a bunch if you get the clones lined up right. And then you can kind of like go into this ghost form and get away and transform between his other clones, so it's all pretty good. And then he has his main like ability, which his ultimate is basically you can just copy anyone else and become them for a little bit and use their ultimate. It's really good pairing it with like Luna Snow, because then you can get 2 Luna Snow ults, which is, I think, hers is like the best in the game. Spoiler alert for later in the list, but that's pretty good. Or like one time I cloned my teammate Storm and then killed a bunch of people with it. So you can do all kinds of different stuff, just depending on whatever you need. You can copy someone's ultimate and then use it in that situation, which is pretty cool. He also has these little fields that make you invincible for a little bit, which actually are really good, and they do it to all the clones too. And number 7 is going to be Jeff the Land Shark. This one kind of hurts. I wish I could place him higher, but I think a lot of the other healers are just a little bit better. He is really fun to play, but I don't think he's the best healer at any means. He has his little like water spit that he does that does like kind of like a group healing, just heals whatever it hits. It's super easy to aim with and hit people with, but it doesn't do a ton of healing compared to some of the other healers in the game. It does do a lot more than like Adam Warlock or Rocket or something like that, but I still don't think it's the best. And then he basically has these like bubbles he can shoot out. He's got a bunch of them, and they actually do quite a bit of healing, and they also give you a speed increase as well. And it makes it to where you can actually shoot at the ground and then heal yourself, which is great if you're trying to escape from getting attacked by something. And then he can also dive in the ground and kind of swim around, and you can go swim on walls and stuff. So he doesn't have a ton of abilities, but I think the ones he does have are pretty good. And then his main ult ability is he can swallow anybody in a radius, teammates and enemies. When he does enemies, it does damage to them, and when he does his teammates, it heals them. And then you can also spit out them, and you can also spit them out across the map, which is really annoying when it happens. I seem to not be very good at doing it. Maybe I just haven't really gotten lucky, but you can do that. And then you can just jump off the map with them as well and kill them and yourself too. And then that will also give you some free kills there. And at number 6 is Adam Warlock. I think Adam Warlock's pretty good. He kind of gets hated on a little bit because his heal is on a cooldown, unlike every other healer in the game. But his heal actually does a ton of healing, as well as he can do a bunch of damage. He did get a buff recently where his main attack does a bunch of damage, so that's good too. But like I said, his heal does a bunch, and then he also has the Soul Bond ability, which basically makes it to where all the people that are affected in the radius on your team get equal amounts of damage taken. So it kind of makes you super hard to kill, and you can use it when someone's ulting on you, and then you can do that, and then it makes it to where the ultimate almost can't kill you lots of the time. So if you can use the Soul Bond right, you can evade tons of damage and save your team with it as well. You kind of have to be really good with Adam Warlock, but if people who are good with Adam Warlock, it's nice to have them. And then of course his main ult brings people back to life, so you can bring your teammates back, and that is super useful. Can't really complain about that one, even though people can use it at the wrong time. So you kind of have to know when to use it to actually get the effectiveness out of it. And number 5 is Cloak and Dagger. This one's going to be probably a little bit controversial, but me personally, I think Cloak and Dagger is a little bit overrated. I don't really find her that fun to play. And of course, it seems like everyone has Lord on Cloak and Dagger, like they just give that out for free. But, you know, not really my favorite to play. I feel like Luna Snow and Invisible Woman have very similar healing, but they do it a lot better in my opinion. Of course, Cloak and Dagger's main abilities, she can switch between like the DPS mode and the healing mode, so You've got dagger, cloak, and then he can kind of deal some damage without. And they both have auto aim too. I guess I should mention that as well. And then you can kind of auto aim with healing, or you can auto aim and deal some damage. So if you need to defend yourself, you can switch to cloak mode, and then you can go back to dagger and then do some healing as well. I don't think the ult is the best in the game, but it is pretty good. It basically does some damage and some healing, but you know, it's just alright, I think. And overall, like I said, I don't think Cloak and Dagger's super fun to play, but she's just pretty decent at healing and dealing some damage and defending yourself. And number 4 is Mantis. I think Mantis is pretty good, definitely a little bit underrated. She is kind of hard to play because you have to be able to hit your headshots, because basically how she works is she has like these leaves that I guess are like the ammo for her abilities, and every time you get a headshot it automatically replenishes one, so you have to be able to hit your headshots to be able to use her effectively. But you basically use the leaves to do the healing, and then so the healing, it doesn't really do a ton of healing, it kind of just gives you a little bit of health, and then it starts giving the player health over time. And then you also get damage boosting too, which is really good. Not really many characters that give damage boosts, and you can give those out to tons of teammates and then just get way more damage output from your team, so that's really great. You got to make sure to use both healing and the damage boosts all the time, and if you can do that, I think Mantis could be pretty good. And of course she does a lot of damage herself too. You could be shooting the entire time while you're healing as well. And she also has the sleep dart, which is super easy to use, and then you can just knock someone out for a little bit and have them go to sleep, which is quite nice as well. Overall, I think Mantis is really good. Her ult as well, it's kind of like a worse Luna Snow ult, but it does give the players that you do like are in the radius, it gives them extra health, which Luna Snow doesn't do, which is nice. It gives them like 100 or so extra health. I think it's depending on what characters they are, but it's a pretty good ult. I don't think it's bad, it's just not as good as Luna Snow's, but I still think it's a really good ult because it basically makes them invincible for a little bit, but not totally invincible. You can still get killed by like an ult or something. And next up at number 3 is Rocket Raccoon. I feel like he is underrated sometimes, mainly because of his ult. Because his ult is basically just a damage boost, and there's so many memes about the Enjoy the Amplifier, which I do love the memes, I think they're hilarious, but I think he's actually really good. Of course, the ult itself, I guess that's what we're talking about, I'll talk about right now. I think it's pretty solid, even though, of course, it's not a healing ult. If you're going to use Rocket, you definitely need someone else playing healer that has a healing ult on your team, or else you're kind of going to be screwed. But if you can do that, then I think he's pretty good. But of course, getting his main abilities, he has like a group healing effect. He shoots these orbs that just do healing at a giant radius, which makes them great for group healing. They kind of slowly does it over time. You kind of just spam the orbs too. You can just reload them super quick and keep spamming them and keep getting healing. I think his heal is really great if you pair it with someone else, of course, who has a healing ult. His minigun also does a really good amount of damage too, so you can kind of shred through people. He has these little, I don't know what they're called, these little stations. They give you extra shield, but they also revive one of your teammates. So if your teammate dies, it'll revive them and then it will destroy the station. And then it's only like on a 40-second cooldown, or when you die, you also get it back. I think that's really great and really underrated as well. You can always be reviving at least one of your teammates when they die and you're in a fight, which can really help you out a bunch. And then he also has the jetpack, which is great for escaping. You get 2 of them, and then they're on a cooldown, so if you're getting attacked and you can't defend yourself, you can kind of just jetpack out of there, and I think that's really great from Rocket as well. But in number 2 we have Luna Snow. She's one of the best healers in the game. Could be number 1 for some people. I think she's pretty close, but she's number 2 for me. She basically has the main attack that does healing, but it also does damage as well, and you can also get headshots with it and deal some damage. And then you have the ability that gives you like a supercharged healing, where she does like the clap, and then it goes through enemies and allies. So if you're in an area, it basically goes through your teammates and you can heal multiples at once, and it does a ton of healing. It's like the most healing I've ever seen in the game for just like one of these main attacks. And then so if your teammate's like getting shredded, you can use that and then heal them back up, and then they won't die if you use it right, which is really great. And then you can also put like the snowflake on one of your teammates, so when you heal, when you're healing someone, it'll also heal your teammate that you have the snowflake on, which is just nice to have, so you can get some extra healing out of that. And then there's like the ice thing, so you can freeze people if they're attacking you. It's kind of hard to hit with, but once you get used to it, it's not super difficult. And then her ultimate, I think, is like the best in the game. It's definitely the best of the healers, but I still think it's probably the best out of any ult in the game. It basically just makes your teammates invincible for 12 seconds. Now, you can be killed like by like Magneto ult or something like that. There's a few ults that can take it out, but most of the time you're not going to get killed by it, so you can kind of just rush in with the Luna Snow ult for 12 seconds and be fine and not have to worry about dying at all. And you can also switch it to a damage mode too, so it does 40% extra damage. If you're not taking damage at all, you can switch it over to that DPS mode and then deal extra damage, which is nice. But at number 1 is Invisible Woman. She's my personal favorite in the game. Also have Lord on her, so that's kind of a bit of a bias, but I do think she's the best healer in the game. She basically has her main attack does healing, but it also shoots through enemies and allies, so you can heal multiple teammates at once if you line it up, and you'll also deal damage to enemies, so you can literally be healing your teammates and killing enemies at the exact same time, which is super fun, and it's really great too because you're getting double the value too. You can heal and deal damage at the exact same time. She has a shield she can put on teammates, which also heals them. Some people don't know that, but it does heal them. So if you have teammates that are running around like Spider-Man and Iron Man that are harder to hit, you can put the shield on them and heal them that way. And then there's like the force burst you can use to push or pull enemies in, but that also does damage too, so you can use that to finish people off or just pull them in. If you're wanting to get an easy kill, you can push them into areas that they wouldn't be able to survive in, or just shoot them off the map too. That's pretty fun. And then there's the force burst, which is really good. It basically makes this giant circle that just deals damage if people are standing in it. So if there's a group of enemies, you can shoot it over there and they basically have to move or else they're gonna die from standing in there. And she also has like one of the best escapes in the game. You can basically like double jump and then go invisible, and so they're not gonna be able to see you or anything, and then you heal while you're invisible too. And then her ultimate is really good. I think it's the second best healing. I think Luna Snow's is better, but hers is still really good. It makes a circle where it makes you invisible unless your teammates, or unless the enemies are in the circle, but when the enemies are in the circle, it slows them down. And I think it does a tiny bit of damage, but I don't think it does a ton. And then, of course, it makes your teammates invisible, and it gives you a bunch of healing too. Not as much as Luna Snow's, but it gives you a bunch of healing, and enough to where you're pretty much don't have to worry about getting killed unless you're getting shot by like an ultimate or something, so you don't really have to worry about that there. But that is my ranking on all of the healers in Marvel Rivals. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe. Thanks for watching, and bye.